This video is brought to you by Wrangler Warranty, now offering the peace of mind you want for your off-road adventures. Check them out using the link below.
The wilds of California. Tucked just behind this ridge is an endangered species, the last of the V8 Wrangler. We might just be able to hear its roar one last time. Oh, and guys, I think behind this tree comes the natural predator of the 392, the gentle whine of the 4xe Wrangler. Look, we've all heard about the death of the 392 for quite some time now. There's the final edition, and then they decided to build some more final editions, but like, the writing's on the wall. The 392 is going away. Or is it? Because I've just learned something very interesting. So here's what's going on. I'm out here at the Rubicon Trail as a guest of Jeep, and even though I'm wearing a Jeep hat, this is not sponsored in any way, it's just my hair is very gross and I'm very hot. But the thing about these media drives is they don't spend the huge amounts of money to fly journalists and influencers out and then ship vehicles out to showcase a vehicle that's being phased out. That doesn't make any sense. So I was talking to some of the Jeep representatives and I said, is the Jeep 392 coming back? Is it really dying? And the official statement is, we can't tell you. But the unofficial statement is, look at what Stellantis is up to. Tim Kuniskis, the big V8 guy, is in charge of North America. Filosa, who's now Big Cheese, was involved with putting the V8 in the Wrangler in the first place. Interesting. And they kind of said, unofficially, but with a wink and a nudge, that enthusiasts love the 392. And if you read between the lines, this is me now reading between the lines, I think it's staying. I really think that we're going to see more of these produced, maybe even new variants of 392. So even though that Jeep has the word final edition on the side of it, I don't buy it at all, and neither should you. And I bet if you give it a couple of months, there's going to be some official news coming out, not confirmed, but I bet there will be, saying, listen, we're still doing 392s. So the exhausts on these 392 are pretty cool, but after a day and a half, 2 days of the Rubicon, they don't look quite as fresh as they were. This thing has like 900 miles on it. That's how you properly break in a Jeep, is brand new, straight to the Rubicon Trail. So I don't know if it's coming across on camera, but just how big some of these boulders are. Keep in mind, this thing's on 35-inch tall tires. And some of these boulders are dwarfing the tires. And Emmy is driving, my buddy. She's been pretty hard on some of the skids, but man, these Jeeps can just take it. Look at her go. And then the other thing about the Rubicon is it's just tight in a lot of areas. So this is not technically supposed to be an off-road video. We've got a full Rubicon video coming over at TFL Off-Road. However, we can't be on the Rubicon Trail and not show you some cool off-roading. So we're here at one of the most famous hill climbs. It's called Cadillac Hill. Let's see how a stock 392 with the Extreme Recon does zooming up this hill. Emmy!
Hi!
Dude, that was freaking sick!
I know! Okay, so what was crazy is everything was locked up, and then I had that one moment where I was like, but just like turning your tires a little bit, and then you find that grip, and then it'll pull you out.
I don't think you can see it on camera, but this is a pretty steep hill.
Yeah, it was, when I saw it, I was like, but you know what? 392, baby. 392. So
after a day of cruising down the Rubicon, the battery is depleted on this 4xe. So it's running on hybrid mode, which combines, of course, gas and electricity. And you can see that the 4xe is every bit as capable up here as the 392. A lot of people wonder, why a solid front axle? This is why a solid front axle. Look how well it's able to keep contact with the ground, even over this little boulder field. So what is it like wheeling over 100 grand worth of 392 Jeep up Cadillac Hill and through the Rubicon Trail? It is an almost surreal experience for me, specifically because of that engine. Cruising along here at a mile or 2 mile an hour and just hearing that low, confident rumble of a large displacement, naturally aspirated V8 is an almost unbelievable experience. Right? You just get this gentle thrum out the tailpipe and a little bit of intake when you get onto the skinny pedal. But it's that soundtrack cruising through these trees with a bellowiest monster under the hood is almost unbelievable. And then when you combine that with the inherent capabilities of solid axles front and back, an automatic transmission, good gearing, locking differentials, a sway bar disconnect, it's like, this experience is like driving a Porsche 911 GT3 RS through Laguna Seca, right? Driving a vehicle that was purpose-built for something that's out of the ordinary, and then being able to do that something with people that also know what they're doing here, these spotters that are just casually guiding us up whatever we approach. It's unbelievable.
One of the great things about these trips is we get to meet some amazing people like Andrew, who is a literal NFL star.
That's right, yeah. And I'm not an off-road star, as you may have seen out there.
So we're going to play a game of off-road terms versus football terms.
Okay.
What is articulation?
Onomatopoeia.
So we're 0 for 1. Now give me a football term and I'll see if I know what it is.
Okay, let's see. You know what a juke is.
So a juke is a Nissan that's incredibly unpopular. What the hell's a juke?
Dude, you gotta give them a little juke, little head movement. It's how you evade the defenders.
I've never done that in my entire life. Who am I evading? The math test?
You've evaded a female or two in your life.
All right, what does IFS stand for?
I have no clue. I've never heard that since we've been out here. What is it?
It's independent front suspension, baby.
Let's say, are you familiar with the weight room? Because Tom.
Okay, we're cutting this. I'm done.
So the specs on this engine, 6.4 liter, hang on, let me crest over this monster rock. 6.4 liter, naturally aspirated V8. Makes 470 horsepower. Click on the rear locker here. There we go. And 470 pound-feet of torque. There is very few places on earth that are harder to present a video on than when you're trying to actively navigate a $100,000 Jeep that's not yours up the Rubicon Trail. So excuse me if this is a little bit of a mess. But look, the horsepower and the torque output are impressive. But what's more impressive is just the integration with this platform, because Wranglers are actually pretty small. And I know the 4-doors are bigger, and then you got like the Extreme Recon, which makes them a little wider. But if you look at the actual footprint of the Jeep, it's a pretty small vehicle. So slamming in over 6 liters of America underneath the hood is a very impressive feat. And then the integration is really well done, because this has just got a standard good old-fashioned torque converter, no hybrid anything, with an 8-speed automatic. And what that means is when you come out here on the trail, it is incredibly easy to 2-foot this Jeep. So you put a little bit of pressure on the brake pedal, give it a little bit of accelerator, and you can kind of ride that torque converter and just crawl nice and gently. Now, yesterday we were in the 4xe. That doesn't have a torque converter at all. Instead, it's got an electric motor sandwiched in the transmission, and it's very herky-jerky. It's kind of on and off. This is by far the greatest powertrain to make its way into a Wrangler. And I know there have been some cool ones, like the Eco Diesel. It's a pretty cool powertrain, right? Even the standard 2-liter 4-cylinder is pretty impressive in what it can do. But this one in particular is so special. How you doing, man? Hey, it's good to see you guys. There's a sheriff in a built-out Wrangler. What is happening right now? Where am I? Those guys are on 37s and they're sheriffs. This is like an unreal place. If you guys ever have the chance to even just walk the Rubicon, you can do it quicker than you can drive it, by the way. It's about 17-ish miles, some say up to 22, depending on how you drive it from start to finish. But you could definitely walk it faster. And the people and the things that you will meet on the Rubicon are kind of next level. You got such a variety of characters out here, in a variety of rigs too, actually. You know, it's mostly Jeeps because we're here for the Jeep Jamboree, but we've met some folks in Toyotas, met some folks on dirt bikes, and those, by the way, are the impressive people. What I'm doing right now feels very manly and I've got a deep voice, but it's not at all, because all we're doing is following instructions from these incredible spotters and then just crawling our way up a difficult trail. But as long as you can follow basic 5-year-old directions, you can do it without difficulty. But the guys on dirt bikes that are cruising down Cadillac Hill, now that takes some real skill. But look, folks, the only problem with the 392 Wrangler, there's a couple. The seats are still terrible. So for the update, they gave it power seats and they gave it a nice screen, and some of the technology is great, but the seats, even though they're power, still feel like a church pew. I just cannot get fully comfortable in Wrangler seats. I'm good in them for a couple of hours and then I want out. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, and I just keep coming back to this, is just the price point, right? Like, I would love it if I could get this engine in a stripped down, no frill, manual window Wrangler and have it be like 50 or 55 grand. That is the dream right there. And in a million years, that's never gonna happen. But realistically, that's what I want Jeep to do. And honestly, I don't even need the 6.4. What I want is a 5.7. Imagine like a little 5.7 Wrangler two-door with a rear locker for $45,000. I'd be in heaven. That would sell 1.5 million units in the first year because it would be reasonably priced and still have that cool sound. So the 6.4 is mega, and I'm so glad that, in my opinion, they're going to keep building it. But I just don't need it. What I need is a 5.7 and a positive attitude and $45,000. That's what I need.
So this is a very typical Rubicon experience here, where you just have these rocks placed in the most inconvenient spots. And then you end up just bashing the frame. The crud out of the frame. So here we go. About to climb this little rock ledge here. The sounds of the Rubicon Trail just...
So the 392 has kind of become a legend within the Jeep community, and this final edition is the ultimate version of that legend. Now, this vehicle has the Extreme Recon package, so it's got the 35-inch tall tires, and there are a couple of ways to differentiate a 392 from a standard Jeep Wrangler. So you've got these gold, or do you call them bronze tow hooks in the front, and you see that throughout the vehicle. So you have it up here on the hood, you have it on the badging, you have it on the Rubicon emblem down the side, and then the final edition also has this little panel on the side of the front fender that says the final edition. And then the best part about the 392 is the hood scoop, which has made its way down to other Jeeps. The one thing I wish that Jeep would do with the 392 is do something berserk with it to differentiate it from all the other Jeeps. Like, you have the 4 pipes in the back, which are cool, but they're a little subtle. But like, what about side pipes or stacks or flames down the side? It's a little subtle.
And this stock 392 is absolutely killing it coming up this section of trail. I mean, it's unreal that we are in a bone stock vehicle straight out of the factory. Thanks,
Sweet,
man.
nice, dude.
Appreciate ya. And it just crawls it. I mean, look at what it's doing right now. This is with a warranty and everything. By the way, if you are looking to off-road your Jeep and you want an extended warranty, Wrangler warranties. Yep, gotcha. Wrangler warranty now offers an off-road warranty, so if you're out on the trail and you get some damage, you're not totally out of luck, which is pretty cool. And just like that, we're through. So folks, this is certainly one of my favorite weekends of the year, coming out here and being able to do this, because like I said, just being able to flex the muscles of these Jeeps is super cool, and I'm so happy that there's a potential, at least from what I've seen, that the 392 may continue well into the future, because this is by far the most special Wrangler, and I know it's expensive, over 100 G's, but it's also truly an experience that you just can't get in any other vehicle. You can't get it in a Bronco Sport or full-size Bronco. You can't get it in a Bronco Raptor. You can't even get it in a Defender Octa with that oomph. It's got the grit to it. So I really like this 392. As always, folks, head on over to alltfl.com. We'll see you in the next video.